If you look around Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia, almost every person today, no matter what age, is affected by a genocide that happened 40 years ago.
It has a lot of impact on me through my parents. I felt it's very terrible and very cruel regimes that, human beings should not experience this.
I cannot forget those brutal memories. There has not been anything like this genocide in the world. Cambodia's own people killed their fellow people, starved them, forced them to work, and ignored them when they were sick.
Areas where hundreds and thousands were brutally murdered are just 20 minutes away from a tourist attraction. To my right, you can see there are divots in the ground where thousands of people were buried during the genocide. And even though the grass has grown over and it's really more of a memorial now, you still feel the hollow energy in the ground and the eerie silence that remains. And no matter what, surviving victims can't shake the past.
Even after the war, I still carry the painful memories in my heart that I can't forget.
It was labeled a genocide, or the deliberate and systematic killing of a racial, political, or cultural group, and is recognized as one of the most horrific events in history. But at the time, most of the world remained silent.
They were very closed off. There was only one flight in and out of Cambodia. They didn't allow journalists or others into the country until very late in the regime. So there wasn't a lot of information coming in or out.
When you learn about the genocide, how does it make you feel?
I feel bad. I feel bad because many people have died. And for those people who survived, the remnants of war are still intact in their brain.
It was the mid-1970s, and after a civil war, Cambodia was split between communist rebels, known as the Khmer Rouge, and Cambodia's government, which was supported by Western countries like the U.S.
Khmer is an ethnicity within Cambodia, and Rouge is French for red. So the former king father of Cambodia called them the Khmer Rouge because they were communist, and red is the color of communism.
Pol Pot, the leader of the Khmer Rouge and his followers, wanted to change the country into a communist system, where the government owns all the land, factories, and natural resources instead of individuals.
They had no patience to transform the people in the past regime into a pure and cleansed people to serve the revolution. So the very quick way for them is to get rid of them and then create a new generation of people.
On April 17, 1975, the Khmer Rouge stormed into Phnom Penh. There, they worked to create a new society from scratch by first driving those from the city out into the countryside.
They told us that America will bomb the city, and that if we don't leave, we would be responsible for our own safety. In fact, they forced us by gunpoint to move out.
They were supposed to return in 3 days, but they never did. Pol Dina was forced into hard labor for long hours with little food. Thousands died of exhaustion and starvation, including her own family.
I felt so much sadness. I only had one son in my life. His sickness became more serious. My son was still breathing, still alive when they tossed him on a cart, on top of other dead bodies.
Cambodians who were intellectuals, artists, and monks were moved to S-21, a prison where they were interrogated, starved, and tortured. Out of the 12,000 people who went through S-21, only 7 survived.
And then the Khmer Rouge commit a widespread and systematic purges.
Many innocent civilians were taken here to what's now being called the killing fields, where thousands were brutally murdered. Some say that when it rains, you can actually see some of the bones and teeth scattered amongst the remains here. It's kind of like a reminder that even though this was still in the past, it's still a very present, dark topic here in Cambodia. In 1979, the genocide ended when the Vietnamese invaded Cambodia, but 4 years of damage was already done. Millions were dead, Cambodia was in ruins, and landmines and other bombs from war littered the country.
When I speak about it, it doesn't make me feel better. Actually, all the miserable memories come back to me. When I talk about it, I still feel emotional and remember everything. Only when I die can I forget this.
It's important to learn about it so it doesn't happen again.
Tomorrow we head to the courts, where the genocide's most wanted are put on trial over 40 years later.
The genocide is probably the worst thing that ever happened in Cambodian history.
And a new generation of Cambodians learns to never repeat the past. Arielle Hixson, Channel 1 News.